Hello and welcome back to part two, if you watch part one. This is my no hashtag collective love reading. Okay, so I was originally going to do the what you're thinking, what they're thinking, but the cards went along the lines of where you're at and what's going to happen. So let's do where they're at and what's going to happen. These are collective, take what resonates. Okay, I would suggest if you haven't seen part one, go to my profile, give me a follow and watch part one, because it's a good clarifier to see if it resonates with you. If you would like to book me for a private reading, they are available. The quickest and cheapest options are available in the link tree in my bio. They start from 10-minute tarot at £10. It is back. I did take it away for a bit, but due to popularity, it has come back. I've had a rejig on the old link tree. Right. Right, okay. Right, I'm not going to pin my hat to anything because, yeah, it looks a bit not what I was going to expect coming up. So, the first card is the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. So, Cups relates to water. We're generally talking about something on an emotional level. Now, with the Court cards, they can represent an energy within ourselves. They can be the energy of somebody else. Now, Kings and Queens are not very good rulers. Okay, this Queen is liable to be very emotional, very all over the place. It's got an air of the way they see you, because I'm going to say this is yourself as opposed to them. They just think you're a bit of an emotional wreck. Okay, you've probably been a little bit too forgiving and potentially a little bit clingy. Now, what I always say is that if somebody's interested in you, they are going to come forwards. Okay, they're not going to get all freaked out if you're telling them how you feel and talking about the future and stuff like that, because if you want to be in a relationship with somebody, surely that is what you're supposed to be doing. Now, the problem is that sometimes people don't see it that way and they're like, oh no, you're being too clingy, you're rushing it. Now, some people do rush it, don't get me wrong. But the problem is, if you're somebody who struggles with anxious attachment and somebody keeps running away from you and not committing to anything, unless you go, I'm not going to play this silly bullshit game with you, I've got more self-worth. If you keep kind of dipping in and chasing them and stuff like that, that gives them the fuel to say, this person's an emotional wreck. Look how clingy they are. Ugh, gross. It's got an air of that to it. And I'm not trying to insult you by saying that. I've been there in the past. But this is the way they're kind of seeing and feeling about you. We then got the Nine of Swords in the reverse position. So swords relates to air, where we think, words we use. Now, in the upright position, person in bed, head in the hands, crying. It talks about periods of stress, sleepless nights, anywhere to depression. When it's in the reverse position, starting to come out of that. Now, it kind of feels a little bit like they've been getting stressed out because you're coming on quite strong, okay, or you have been coming on quite strong, and it's been causing them stress. They're kind of going, well, I can see this person as they really are now. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take the stress off, okay. We've then got the Ten of Pentacles. So Pentacles relates to the element of earth, can mean money and finance, can mean non-financial wealth. So Tens are completion cards, okay. We call this the retirement card because it's coins. It's when we've been saving up, we get to the end and we get to enjoy the fruits of our labour. Now, it's got a little bit of an air of, whoever this person is, they've kind of gone as far as they wanted to with this connection. They're feeling happy with where they're at because they've... yeah, they've, put it this way, they've had nothing to lose, okay, because they've not really been committed and they've not really understood. Now, if you have been coming across a little bit clingy and you've been trying to kind of force the connection and that's not for them, you know, that's perfectly fine. We're all different people and we have all have different expectations within connections and relationships. However, what they should have done is turn around to you and said, this is a bit too much for me. I'm not sure I want this. Okay, and then that would have given you the opportunity to go, well, they're obviously not looking for the same thing that I am, so maybe it's time that I disconnected and moved on. This suggests that they haven't been doing so. They might have potentially started off with good intentions of wanting something long term and whatnot, but for whatever reason, they're not ready, okay? They've not been ready, and instead of being an adult and saying, do you know what, I'm really sorry about this, I've changed my mind, I don't think I'm ready for this, they've kept you dangling, okay? Right, let's continue. Right, okay. So we then got Judgment in the reverse position. So hurry up. So judgment talks about either internal or external judgment. Now I feel, with this being in the reverse position, that they're not judging you fairly. Okay, it feels like I say, you might have been a little bit pushy, you might have been a little bit forwards, but it's got an air of that you've done that because you're like, well, what the fuck's going off here? Instead of them sitting there and understanding why you're feeling that way, they've gone into what a fucking nutcase, what a weirdo, yada yada yada. They're judging you very unfairly. Okay. We've then got the Nine of Wands in the reverse position. So wands relates to fire. We're generally talking about taking some kind of action. Now, nines are reflection cards before we go on to 10 and close down the cycle. Now, we've got the chap here, got bandage on his head, one on his arm. Okay, now in the upright position, I love this card because he's going, do you know what? I've been to hell and back. However, I'm still standing. And I know what one tough motherfucker I am, okay? When it's in the reverse position, it does tend to talk about feeling defeated or blaming themselves, playing a bit of a victim, okay? Again, this is how they're seeing you, okay? They're seeing you as not being strong enough, being a victim, stuff like that. Overall outcome cards, Nine of Cups, okay, so this is them, okay, they're sat on their bench here and they've got their 9 cups behind them, okay, they're reflecting back and they're looking back at, you know, how happy they are. Now, with this card, you might just about see he does look a bit smug, okay, so it's almost like they've kept you on the hook for a long while, they've changed their mind at some point about what they want, and they're looking back and they're kind of going, well, you know, I didn't get hurt, did I? You know what I mean? This person's obviously a nutcase. Look how clingy they are. They're always, you know, I've not messaged them back in 3 days, and look, I've got 10 messages from them. What a weirdo. I'm all right though, mate. It's got an air of that to it, I'm afraid. So obstacles or blockages. Page of Pentacles in the reverse position. Okay, this for me is more advice for yourself because you're the one watching the video. You keep expecting offers from this page. Pages are fucking children. This card often for me in these types of readings talks about breadcrumbing. Okay, you know they're not going to come forwards. Even if they did, it would be a pathetic petty offer. They're keeping all their coins for themselves. They're in 10 of Pentacles over there. You know what I mean? They're all right. They've got everything that they want. You know they've decided they want something different. Removing any blockages, Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles is very Mother Earthy. Okay, she's kind, she's caring, she's loving, she's devoted. She's nurturing and caring for that pentacle like it was a baby. The advice of the card for you is to start focusing on yourself. Nurture yourself, okay? Once you get to 100% love for yourself, then only 100% love coming the other way will do. You're selling yourself short. This person, okay, it did start off and I was a bit like, you know, oh, you know, maybe they've kind of freaked themselves out, etc. They're not very nice. They've gone down a completely different route to what I was expecting. They're just thinking about themselves. They're victim blaming. Okay, they've done this to you. Now, yes, you should have found some more self-respect earlier on and said, I'm not going to play this silly bullshit, but unfortunately you haven't. And now they're blaming that on you. Put it that way. They're sat there looking all smug going, well, I didn't get hurt. Look at me, I'm fine, Jack. Fuck you. So yes, I'm not overly concerned because you're going to have a Tower card moment. The universe is going to sort it out. The important thing, though, like I say, is after that Tower card moment, flip it round, okay? Don't blame yourself. Don't feel too defeated. Once you realise your self-worth, your true one will come forward. I guarantee it, okay? Good luck until next time.